Hey everybody, welcome to our lives. I'm trying to fix the camera. I hope everybody's having a great day. I am Heather, and Renee and I come to you live each and every day to talk luminesce. I mean, whatever that is for you. And so you get to see us transform with the makeup and just really ask questions as we go along and figure out the best way to do it for you. There's really no, how do I say this? There's rules, but not really on how to do makeup or how to do luminesce. Now, there are basic rules as far as the way you apply it, but the order of things can be different. And I'm going to use this little lip chubby because my lips are feeling chapped. And I've been using our tanning tonic spray to get some color on my face. So that's why I look golden and sun-kissed. So there you go. So hey, Patty, good to see you. Good to see you, Amber. Good afternoon. So yeah, all right, let's get started. Let's go over just the basics as far as what you get in your kit when you order it. Maybe you've ordered it. Maybe you're waiting to order it. Maybe it's there and you haven't even opened it. This is what it looks like. This is one of our icons. It comes with the system and the makeup. So it's not a matter of, oh, I have to spend the money on this and this. It all comes together. And when you're picking it, you get to pick a range, which is really great because it makes the color matching easier for you, especially being new. It really does take that guesswork. You're just getting in there and getting a range. So we give you two very complementary foundations, and then we give you the Love and the Blush. Now we do give you two foundations so you can mix and match throughout the year. Now that I'm tanning, I'll go darker in my foundation. But you're not going to skip, like you might skip one or two colors or like go up one or two. You're not going to go from a 3 to a 10 in colors. And airbrushing is so forgiving that, I mean, if you've been here and watched me, I've actually started with a shade 9 and everybody's like, oh my gosh, it looks great. And then I'm like, oh, but look, the wrong shade. So it is very forgiving, and that's what you learn when you're practicing. And so I do want you to practice. I mean, we tell you that it does take some getting used to. And so I want you to do the following steps as soon as I find them. And I'm going to find them very soon. This is it. I don't know if I like that one. I like this one. Yeah, because I'm left-handed. And so I like it on that side, this side. Okay. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is get it out and just start playing with it. Hey, Deborah, good to see you. Everybody's here. I'm making sure I didn't miss anybody. Yay. We have all our the gang's all here. But I want you to get it out and plug it in. That's going to be the scariest thing, is the getting it out. I think as we get it, we're like, oh, can I do this? This is going to be, oh, blah, 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 blah. And it's not as difficult as we play it up in our heads. You will be able to do it. But just when you turn it on, just start, there's air that comes out, and just start feeling the air. I'm showing you my hair just so you can see. It's a nice little kiss of air. It doesn't freak you out. It actually feels really good. And just move the stylus around the face. This is what you're going to do when you're putting on the makeup. This is what you're going to do. And so you'll definitely want to just practice that. I promise you, doing these 4 things, airbrushing is going to become second nature to you. You'll just pick it up and start going. But the one thing that I do want you to practice is the last one, and that's barely pull back on the trigger. You're in control over what is being left or what's being sent out of the trigger, what makeup's being released. And so I want barely. And when I say barely, it's half a barely. It's barely. Because This isn't traditional makeup. If you're putting it on like traditional makeup, it's not airbrush. So when you're putting it on, it is so light and so airy, airbrush, that it should dry on contact. You're using 10 times less makeup. And so if you're not making those changes, just know, hey, I might be doing something wrong or different or whatever. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get started because I do want to talk about blending. I want to talk about maybe using even less makeup in the summer. One of my favorite items, and I let somebody borrow it, and it's not here, is our exposure highlighters. I love those. And that is something in the summer, and I'll have to do it next hour. I put them on in the summer, and then I surely have another one in here, but probably not. I put it on like my high cheekbone area, and then I'll airbrush over it. What's great about that is it gives you that dewy look, a very controlled dewy look, where not like you can fry chicken on your face, not greasy, but where it's super, super light. So instead of that product that I love, I'm going to use one of our highlighters in the powder form. Now, there might be a chance in the summer that maybe you want to move to something that's not a powder. Maybe you want to do something that may be a little bit creamier. And so the exposure highlighters are always a good option. Okay, now I did put quite a bit on because I want to show you about the blending. Remember that your stylist is going to blend all of that for you. So even if I put the exposure highlighter, whatever highlighter, I used, that is going, you can blend the foundation on over it and it will help soften everything. So if you want that bronzy look, then, this is the way you can get that. And you can also use less makeup. So you can use any of the luminizers, the gold luminizer. Hello, that's what I should have used. That Renee used today, the gold luminizer. You can put that on before. That's going to be great to stick with airbrush, but put that on and then you can airbrush over that. Now, you all know that I have the darkness in my lid, here and underneath. However, when I'm darker, I don't have to use as much because I'm darkening my skin, and that's not going to have a big a contrast. Does that make sense? I hope so. So let's go in with, I'll do the CC concealer, and I'm going to do just a little drop. All right. My little drop, turn it on. And now I'm going to go in and do this on my lid. Now, when I say blending, your stylist, if you are doing those points that we talked about earlier, if you are doing those to a T, your stylist blends for you, okay? So if I go in here and I'm moving my stylus, I'm barely pulling back on the trigger as to not get too much makeup on there, then it's going to blend for me, all right? I'm going to add glow real quick because now that I'm darker and sun-kissed, you'll be able to see glow. And I'm going to mess up because I want to show you the difference between how it blends if you're doing all those steps correctly versus if you're too close. Okay, good. It's making sense. You know how sometimes you start talking and you're like, did that just make sense? Like you're trying to think back and say, I hope that made sense. All right. Hey, Karen. If you're too close, and this is glow, so it's very light, like that. So if I come in, see that? That is too close, right? That's like 2 fingers away. If I'm 4 fingers, and I'm not moving my stylus. See how big that is? Okay, so obviously this is not how we spray, but moving it, you can move it around and there's going to be overlap, but you're never going to be in one spot twice on your passes. You can go back to that same spot as many times as you want to get the, to get that coverage. Like whatever, to get that coverage, but you don't want to go, like, I don't want to do this because that's putting it on like traditional, because I'm covering every inch of my face. The way I want to put it on is this way. That's still a little bit too wet. So if I did it, I would probably do it like this. So you can still see it, but it's dry. Okay, that is how light you're pulling, and you're letting the stylus do all the work. It's very important to let that stylus do the work for you. You don't have to use 14 different brushes to blend it. You just go in, do what we tell you you need to do, and it blends for you. All right, so now I'm going in with my foundation. Now, this is showing you color match, all right? Hey, Candy. All right, so I'm gonna go in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, 3 is a little light for me right now. I'm gonna show it to you real quick. See how it's a little bit light? It's not, like if I wanted an absolute perfect match, I probably would go up to, it's not too bad. I would probably go up to a 5. But since I don't have it, watch this. I can still go in. Oh, yay, Jeannie said, awesome demo. That's good. I love hearing that. I love trying to explain it and make it easier for you. And I'm more of a visual person. That's why I do tell you guys to go in and spray a paper towel, because sometimes seeing it versus when you're doing it, you don't always see what you're doing. So if you have someone you can airbrush, sometimes that helps when you're learning, because you can actually see it being done. Now, right now, I can go all over my face because I don't have anything on besides that shimmer. Yay, Brenda, thank you. All right, so that is all the foundation, okay? That's a pretty good darn match right there, all right? If I needed to, let's say that, oh, thank y'all. Let's say I'm like, well, maybe it's a little bit too light. Go in and add a bronzer. If you don't, like, I don't have a 5 here at the house. And so if I needed a 5, if I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit too light, what I would do, and I'll do it in just a minute, is I would go in and add a bronzer, whether it's the Airbrush, whether it's the Cut 1 palette, whatever that is. You would do it that way, okay? I'm gonna go in and fill in my brows. So if we wanted to go in and do everything, if we wanted maybe a different blended look, maybe we want to do lighter brows in the summer, like not as detailed. I did a little makeup lesson for one of my mom's friends that are in town, and we had so much fun. And the reason she wanted it was because she said that she felt blank. Like she just felt, she's blonde hair. She has beautiful fair skin, but she felt like she was washed out is what she was trying to say. But she's like, I just feel blank. I was using her brow pencil. She has really light brows. And we were talking about the brow pencil, and I ended up giving her one of mine because she needed darker brows. What was happening with her, the brow pencil that she had actually was perfect. She wasn't pressing hard enough. So she was just going, boop, 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 boop. So don't be afraid of color, guys. Don't be afraid of color. You can blend it. It doesn't, I mean, get it on there, like get up and get going. She just wasn't pressing hard enough on her brow with her brow pencil. And the other thing, she actually, this was, I thought, really interesting. She was using, and I'm not going to name names, but she was using a pretty good, like I like that brand. And it was a blush that she used. And I was like, man, that's a pretty, it looks like a strong looking color. And I put my finger in it, and there was barely anything on my finger. Then I did the same thing to one of my colors, but in the eyeshadows, did the same thing and showed her. Guys, it was night and day. I'm like, that's why you're not getting any color. You don't get any payoff from this blush. You're not getting any payoff from it. And so I was able to I used the blush as eyeshadow and as her blush, but we used another shade, we used ours. And so it really makes such a difference if you're getting the correct payoff from the product. All right, I am going to go in and I want to put, I'm going to use this one. This is an obnoxious, actually, Candy, it wasn't a cheap brand. It was a higher end. And I was like, is there something on, like I was scraping it to see, but there was no payoff. Oh, you're not going to be able to see this because it's green. Oh, wait, maybe I shouldn't use this one because you won't be able to see it. Let me change colors because you won't be able to see it. I'll just do the blue because of the green screen stuff. It'll look like I blink on my eyes. Like you'll be able to see through my eyes. So I'm going to use this blue. Okay. Now some of this might, look like you might look at that color and go, no, I'm not in the 80s anymore. No, I'm not going to use this. No, you might start thinking that. But I want to show you how you can do it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Deborah loves the color. All right. So I am going to put it on with my hand or with my finger, but this time I'm just boop, 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 lightly tapping. Okay. Normally when I put it on my finger, I do this and then I'm just, but this one, I'm just going to go boop, boop, boop. Okay. And then I have to remember which finger I used. Now I'm using this one and I'm going to put this on my eye with a very light touch. Let me wipe my hands off real quick. Light, again, a light touch in the palette, because you don't have to scrub in there. I'm like, boop, boop, boop. And I'm tapping this on. Now you can do this with a flat eyeshadow brush, you know, whatever you prefer to get that on. Okay. So now it's on my lid. And now I'm going to take a brush, a blending brush. Let me use this one. And I'm just going to blend this. Now, I am not pressing hard. I'm not doing that. I'm literally just boop, 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 back and forth, back and forth. Like that. And look how soft it is. I can do it more. I can, you know, not do it as much. Whatever I'm feeling that day. I can just add that color. I can even blend it up more. You know, we talked about hooded eyes and where to, you know, how to blend that makeup up. So you can, Deborah said she almost, I almost sliding out of my chair waiting on the results. So you can just blend that up and it can be very soft. Now, if you put this on and let's say you're like, I still don't know, it might be too much. Go in with a neutral color and blend it, or a powder, and blend it right over it. That will soften it. So if you need to soften it a little bit more, use a powder, use a neutral color, something that might be close to your skin color, and just do it like that. But that gives you a little pop of color, which is going to be great for the summer. And then, but it's not going to be maybe too much for you. And then, you know, you'll be like, oh, I wore blue eyeshadow. You did what? And then people are like, oh, I love it. I love it. Yes, girl, go for it. Go for it. All right. So now let's go in. I'm going to add a little bit of Charming Blush, which is the pink. Now, if you notice when I put on anything with a brush, I'm usually tapping it. Guys, when I tell you it's light, you don't see my face move everywhere. It is very, very lightly that I'm doing this. I'm barely pulling back. So just know that that it's, and I've seen makeup artists do this all the time, where they press so hard on the face. And if you're having to press that hard on the face, then you need to look at other makeup. Like, something should not be that get hard pressed to have to, you know, really work at putting something on. I should be able to just dust it on and you get that color. So you can compare all of that. Now I can finish with natural lashes or mascara, and I am in some lips. I did use the Lion King little lip chubby right here. Oh, and I bent it. So this does turn a little bit. So don't do that. And there you go. Voila. All right. There you go, guys. The color is none compares to Luminous color payoff. I agree, Karen. I agree, Karen. Karen says she has a lot of prestige eye colors, but none compares to the payoff of Luminous. And that is so true. So true. Candy compares them with other ones as well. And so hey, proof is in the dab. If you ever question that, try it. Put your finger in a Luminous eyeshadow and then another one and see what payoff. Like, do them the same amount so you can see it. We really do want to put out only good things. Only amazing, not even good, amazing things. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, I will see you back here at 4 o'clock. I will be back ready to go. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.